Welcome back. Doesn't it seem these days that everybody is looking for the perfect body? Especially in an age where there's so much focus on fixing those imperfections, be it by plastic surgery or, hey, Photoshop. But what many don't realize is that this search for perfection can also lead to a compulsion called body dysmorphic disorder, which affects 2% of the entire population. And nobody escapes. Both male and female are affected. Recently, I met with my friend Brian Cuban, who suffered 30 years with this disorder, and who is now speaking out on his ordeal and how others can help those in need. Let's start with what body dysmorphia is.
Sure. For the layman's explanation as it applies to me, body dysmorphic disorder is when you take a non-existent or small defect in your body and exaggerate it to the point where it affects your ability to function normally in life. For me, because of the fat shaming at home with my mother and the bullying at school, I thought I had this huge, huge stomach no matter how thin I got, or no matter how muscular I got, no matter what I did to myself. That is kind of the feeling I would get when I looked in the mirror, when I looked at myself in a store window.
Or the feedback from the people around you.
Or the feedback from the people around me. But people would tell me, you're thin, but I wouldn't see that. I would see a fat 13-year-old kind of bullied little boy. And it's not really, people refer to it as a delusion. It's more of this overwhelming, obsessive-compulsive feeling that you're big. For other people, they go through a lot of, they abuse plastic surgery. Other people,
Yes, and we've seen a lot of that,
so
for
people
sure.
experience body dysmorphic disorder in different ways, depending on how they reacted to their environment.
Two kids going through the same thing, but two different ways they handled it.
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Everyone responds differently to their environment. Eating disorders, body dysmorphic disorder, the reasons for why people develop these things are very complex. People talk about the media, people talk about genetics, people talk about environment. I don't think anyone's ever pinpointed any one thing. And for me, because I was shy as it was, and I wanted to be that kid who went to the prom.
That cool kid, yeah.
I wanted to be that kid who got to hold a girl's hand and kiss a girl for the first time. Those were the kids that I saw that I said, I have to be like that. And when I couldn't be like that, it becomes a self-loathing type thing where you start seeing yourself in a different manner.
What are some of the symptoms and some of the social situations we could look at?
Well, if you're a child, I think we have to distinguish obsession with normative discontent. Everyone looks in the mirror now and then and says, man, I look like crap, I don't want to go out.
Yeah.
That happens,
Still, even today.
Yeah, I mean, even Clint Eastwood has a fat day, right?
I have a bad hair day.
Yeah, that's normative discontent. But when we go beyond that, when a parent, is your child obsessed with his appearance? Is your child constantly, body checking? Is your child starting to engage in unhealthy eating habits? Is or is your child just constantly comparing his or her body and how he or she looks to their peers? I think you have to keep an eye on that to where is it going to turn into obsession? It's a fine line, and it's a tough call for parents.
Right, it's a tough call because also you said that because of this you actually turned into a bully.
Absolutely.
So if your child is a bully, it could also be somewhat of another symptom.
It could be self-defense mechanism. No one becomes a bully in a vacuum.
Right.
Okay, there's something going on at home. They see themselves in a certain way and they feel they need to engage in that behavior to be accepted. That's what happened to me. The kids who were the cool kids who were bullying me, if I could be like that, I'll be one of the cool kids. Right. So I ended up bullying my college roommate mercilessly. What
are some of the things people can do about it?
The biggest thing I tell parents, you can't cure your children. What you can do is put your children in a position and provide the framework for them to help themselves. And the biggest mistake parents make is saying, I don't want to deal with that. There is no shame in admitting I don't know what to do. There are all these resources out there that a parent can go to that didn't exist when I was going through this.
Right.
And get your own framework for how to deal with your children, because every situation is different. If you notice something, the only shame should be is if you see something and do nothing.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Because you have to be observant. You have to be observant. Children don't isolate in a vacuum.
No.
Children don't engage in unhealthy eating habits or see themselves differently for no reason at all. Something's going on. 30% of people with body dysmorphic disorder engage in eating disorder behaviors, and I was one of those.
Right, but first you said you ate a lot and you kept eating and you felt no control over it and you felt no control over your body, and then you said that you started losing a lot of weight and you felt a great control because you were able to lose the weight, and that sent you in a spin in an opposite direction.
That's right. When I was going through this with my mom, what I knew was that food, and I became depressed, what I knew was that food made me feel not
better.
depressed. Okay, I had control over that.
Right.
So when I moved down the road into college and I'm still seeing this fat 12-year-old boy in the mirror and I'm not being accepted, in my mind, what do I have control over? Yeah. Run back to that, food. But this time, it's not eat more, it's starve yourself, it's eat less. And then when that wasn't making me feel better, it's engaged in bulimic behavior. And then again, and then I call it a destructive behavior wheel.
Right.
People with body dysmorphic disorder may cycle through all these destructive behaviors looking for that one thing that will give them that normal reflection and where they can look in the mirror and say, everything's okay.
I know how destructive this can be. Thank you so much for speaking out about it.
Thank you for having me. I
Absolutely.
really appreciate it.